Good evening, good afternoon, good night, and good morning. Thank you for tuning in to RETV's News Break. I am Ty.
And I'm Nicole with your weekly RETV News Break. Every week, Ty and I will bring you news, trends, and more with a positive spin.
We are still in Black History Month, and while we continue to celebrate through the month of February, we celebrate Black Excellence 365 days a year.
In our first story, if you're an Issa Rae fan, gather here. The 36-year-old Insecure star and creator is giving two lucky people the opportunity to spend the weekend in a lush home located in South Los Angeles, filled with decor that is inspired by the beloved storyteller and her love for the area. Why is she doing this? In her true "I'm rooting for everybody Black" fashion, she wants people to experience the businesses, communities, and culture that influences the excellent work she does on screen. If you're wondering how you can partake, unfortunately you missed your opportunity. Issa Rae posted a listing on Air BnB. The booking window started yesterday, February 8th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to book the stay for this weekend, February 12th through the 14th, for $56 per night, which is Super Bowl weekend and Valentine's Day. The booking period closed within minutes. She announced the news on Twitter. The guests will receive a live virtual check-in with Rae, followed by many other pleasant surprises and opportunities. The Airbnb description says the lucky guests will enjoy panoramic views of LA and the Hollywood Hills from the outdoor lounge in a stylish mid-century view park pad decked out with artwork by local Black artists, including Maya Iman, Vaccine, and Dominic Brown. Rae also put together a list of her favorite local landmarks and spots for those interested in exploring. Because every Airbnb stay should have a little pampering on the side, the winners will also get a catered game day dinner for Super Bowl Sunday, courtesy of Worldwide Tacos, wine, and some Sienna Naturals hair care products, a brand she co-owns. Note that it's not a competition, so whoever booked the stay first gets the stay for $56 a night. They'll also be responsible for their own travel to and from the home. The day ones who have been watching Rae closely are likely aware of the work she does to support Black people in general, but especially Black business owners. Recent examples include her partnering with American Express in 2001 to promote their Buy Black program, which is the first of its kind nationwide certification for Black business owners. She curated the businesses for a Buy Black Bazaar pop-up marketplace in downtown LA last December. There's also the Insecure Fest, which was a block party Rae threw that showcased businesses owned by Black entrepreneurs. Considering her track record, it isn't shocking that Rae has chosen to give people a luxurious experience while exposing them to all the great things to see and do and people to support in her hometown. You may have heard that I'm rooting for everybody Black, and this mission is inspired by my LA community, she says in the Airbnb Superhost profile. During the epic weekend, I hope you come to appreciate my community's rich history and its many contributions to LA.
That's dope. That is really, really dope. That one, I don't know if there's, and I haven't really stayed in Airbnb before, but that there's any Airbnbs that you can actually stay in for $56.
Not really, especially in LA.
Especially in LA. I do want to make one minor correction. I think you said she partnered with American Express in 2001. It was actually 2021 that she partnered with American Express. But it's just phenomenal that, like I said, an Airbnb alone, get alone an Airbnb by Issa Rae, who is, mega superstar, producer, all of these things. And it's during Super Bowl weekend, which is crazy. And then not even just that, but what did you mention? Like this, like she's artwork, then she's adding in like...
She's actually providing a game day dinner. So for those who are going to be, whomever the couple is, or the people who, book the room or the home, will actually get a personal virtual invite from her, first of all. And then on game day, they're having a catered dinner.
And all you're responsible for is finding your way to and from the house.
Yeah.
That's not a problem, because when I was in LA just a few months ago, I rented a car. I took a plane out there and flew a car and rented a car.
But I'm pretty sure you paid more than
$56. Yeah. But but I'm talking about just for the car and for the flight alone.
Yeah.
I mean, like, to me, while yes, we're on the East Coast, and I know there are people who watch this who are all over the country, but we're on the East Coast. So if you're on the West Coast, or you're on the Midwest, or in Mountain Standard Time and all those other places, it's even much cheaper trip for you just to fly out there for. So for those two lucky people, two lucky people who are able to get, this Airbnb of Issa Rae's. That is so dope, because she's not making any money off this.
No. And it's like, her contribution back to the community, and loving the fact that she's highlighting local, Black-owned businesses, and encouraging, the guests to actually venture out, to be a part of the culture. I think it's just really dope.
And I will say, because we had a chance to watch, she had her Insecure series just wrapped up recently, and we had a chance to watch the making of the last season. And I know one of the things that she was kind of criticized for was bringing a lot of attention to her LA neighborhood via her show, in which thus, felt like people were then moving a lot of the other businesses, the smaller businesses, out of there because they weren't getting, the attention that they desired, and becomes wind up being expensive, to own businesses and so forth out there. So for her to be able to do this and then be able to highlight the other Black businesses that are there in the LA neighborhood, the South LA neighborhood and so forth, that is dope. So that's where, again, her way of giving back to not just her community, but the businesses that are there and so on and so forth. That's really dope.
I would love to see the landmarks. I would.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to take a trip out to LA and, like I said, see all the Insecure landmarks, and then everything that she's done, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff. It's LA for God's sake. It's everything is out there, so it's pretty dope. Keeping in the entertainment industry, next up, this year's nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame have been announced. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Foundation revealed the recording artists nominated to be inducted into the 2022 class. Popular hip-hop group A Tribe Called Quest, Ali Shaheed Muhammad, Phife Dawg, Q-Tip, and Jerobi White joined Motown legendary artist and former Commodores lead singer Lionel Richie, R&B songstress Dionne Warwick, and Nigerian Afrobeats pioneer Fela Kuti in a field of 17 nominees. I quote, "This year's ballot recognizes a diverse group of incredible artists, each who has had a profound impact on the sound of youth culture," said John Sykes, chairman of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Foundation, in a written statement. Their music not only moved generations, but also influenced the sound of countless artists that followed. All recording artists are eligible for nomination after they have released their first commercial recording of 25 years before the year of nomination, which at this point in time will be 1997. Fans have the opportunity to vote for the artists that they'd like to see in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The ballots for this year's nominees are sent to an international voting body of more than 1,000 artists, historians, and music industry members. The nominees are selected based on an artist's musical influence on other artists, length and depth of career, and the body of work, innovation, and superiority in style and technique are taken into consideration. 7 out of this year's 17 nominees appear on the ballot for the first time. Beck, Eminem, Duran Duran, Dolly Parton, Lionel Richie, Carly Simon, and A Tribe Called Quest. Last year, 2 hip-hop heavyweights were inducted. The artist with the most Grammys in hip-hop history, Sean Jay-Z Carter, and James Todd Smith, also known as LL Cool J. One of rock's best-known performers, Tina Turner, along with the poet and jazz musician Gil Scott-Heron, and soul entertainer and songwriter Billy Preston were also inducted. And one of Black music's most successful executives, who is known as the Black Godfather, Clarence Avant, made the list as well.
Wow, that's an extensive list.
I am a big music fan. I love music. Can't speak for all of you all. I know specifically myself, music is something that speaks to me. It's like a language in itself, in my opinion. And to hear those that I actually listen to, A Tribe Called Quest, Lionel Richie, when he was with the Commodores, Diana Ross. I mean, these are, I'm really last year, don't get me wrong, I was excited for Jay-Z and excited for LL Cool J. But A Tribe Called Quest, East Coast, you know, New York rap, hip hop, and I think we were just talking the other day about the stylings of A Tribe Called Quest, because A Tribe Called Quest, for those who don't know, a lot of their music was sampled, or they took sampled music from a lot of other little known or sometimes mainstream jazz and other type of music that was out there, and then flipped the beat and turned it here and so forth, and actually made it into their own style of music, which was super dope in my opinion. And then of course, who doesn't like Lionel Richie? I mean, it's Lionel Richie. I mean, you know, he's dancing on the walls. It's Lionel Richie. I mean, so this pretty dope. I never had an opportunity to visit the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay. So I think that's something that may be on my bucket list to actually travel. You know? Not exactly sure where it is. Okay. I want to say it's, and I could be completely wrong, but I want to say it's in Ohio.
That's what I thought too, yeah, but it just seems.
I want to say it's in Ohio, but I could be completely wrong that it's in Ohio, but I believe that's where it is. And yeah, I'm excited to, you know, that these people will get an opportunity to be inducted this year.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
For sure.
Awesome. Now let's discover Black History facts. Since mainstream media never shows this picture or mentions Trayvon Martin, as he was a kid that loved science, went to space camp, and had sights on being a pilot. We remember him on what would have been his 27th birthday, which was actually February 7th. May he rest in peace 10 years later. In 1942, U.S. Navy messman Charles Jackson French successfully swam through the night for 6 to 8 hours, pulling a raft of 15 wounded sailors with a rope around his waist in shark-infested waters. The USS Gregory was hit by Japanese fire in the Pacific Ocean. French successfully brought these men to safety on the shores of the Solomon Islands. He was the first African American swimmer to receive the Navy Medal of Heroism in 1943. More of us have gone to space than most people know about. Shout out to all of these amazing folks who were able to rise to the top of their fields to qualify to go to space. That's not easy. It's impeccable, the amount of history that we have, impeccable as well as sad that a lot of this is not shared or taught in schools. I had no idea the number of Black astronauts that have actually gone to space, other than, of course, you know, the infamous Mae Jemison. And there's another one, he's a gentleman, the name escapes me at the moment, but outside of those two, I had no idea. I think there are 16 on this list that have actually gone, and sadly I have not known any of them, so that's a little bit of homework and research I'm going to do on my own history to find out more about each of them. 17 if you include Michael Strahan. I mean, technically he did go to space. True that.
Right or wrong. I mean, he did get a chance to go to space. So that was, and that's why I was like, okay, maybe she's forgetting Michael Strahan out there. But no, I mean, it's pretty dope, especially now with the advancement of technology. You know, that more people do have the ability to go. So hopefully with the advancement of technology and these billionaires who are creating opportunities for more people to go, that people will either do more research, or there will be more education about, you know, African Americans who have had the opportunity to go. Because like you said, you rarely ever hear about, like you said, 16 people in total.
17.
Or 17 including Michael Strahan. Shout out to Michael Strahan. But no, you don't hear about him, honestly. And the only reason we know about Michael Strahan because it's recent. It was literally last year, just a few months ago, that it was actually televised. And I know back in the day when we were a lot younger, that was something that they used to actually televise on TV, and they used to bring out the rolling cart on TV, and then you would actually
Yeah.
And so if the launch was something that was happening during the day, then, you would actually watch on TV and possibly discuss it and so on and so forth. But if that did not happen, in a lot of cases in which it doesn't, in a lot of cases, in which we're not even privy to the fact that there isn't even a launch period, because a lot of people are going to the International Space Station and this, that, and the third, for scientific research, so on and so forth. When we don't know that it's happening, we don't know who's a part of the crew who's going.
Right.
And so if we don't know who's a part of the crew who's going, then 9 times out of 10, we don't know whether they're African American, Asian American, or anything else for that matter, outside of the typical, Neil Armstrong and those big names that we hear that, have made, the first into space or, have gone to the moon and so on and so forth. So, it's definitely good to recognize, one, that Trayvon Martin was somebody who actually was excited about science and particularly wanted to potentially do something in the aeronautic. What is it? Aeronautic, the space industry, the space industry, and would have learned about these other 16 people as well to potentially have done this or done that himself.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Who knows? He could have been, one of the next ones to launch out into space. So definitely heart and prayers goes out to his family as well.
And even a posthumous, early birthday shout out to him, where his birthday, would be coming up on the 27th in a few weeks. So definitely, shout out to Earth Day for him, for sure. Yeah. Definitely. So definitely looking forward to finding out more about some of these astronauts and so forth that have made their way to space, and definitely looking forward to seeing any future potential African Americans who decide they want to go to space. I, for one, like to keep my feet planted nice here on the U.S. soil.
I would go.
Yeah, it'd be a while. They still testing a lot of that stuff out with us civilians.
It was successful for Michael Strahan.
It was, and him and Captain Kirk and a few other people that have gone up there. But however,
I just wish Katherine Johnson was still around to do the actual calculations to make sure that I came back safely. I would trust her and her only.
Exactly. So but technology has advanced, and like you said, I know you said you trust her and her only, but technology has advanced.
It has.
So with all that being said, I still want to keep my tail right here on the ground.
I would take the leap and go.
Okay. I'll watch from the ground. In our final story of the day, you might have actually seen this one recently on your social media timeline. Let's take a look. An educator in Jacksonville, Florida is lighting up our timelines with Black joy at the top of Black History Month. Last week, math teacher Nadine Abry posted a video of her students from 2018 after she taught them the lyrics to Lift Every Voice and Sing, also known as the Black National Anthem. While a lot of our culture has passed down across generations, many of her students weren't familiar with the song, despite it being written by James Weldon Johnson and composed by J. Rosamond Johnson in their hometown of Jacksonville. The kids learned the lyrics and, as we do, added their own sauce to the rendition of the song. The viral video is practically a Renaissance painting with everyone in frame doing their own little part to create this masterpiece. We've got beat makers in one corner, a collection of Millie rockers in the center, and a full chorus of students vibing in harmony. Pausing her math lessons for this Black History moment is why Black educators like Nadine matter, and our timelines are thankful that she did.
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually a dope video.
It is.
It is a dope video.
It did lighten my spirits a little bit, and I was rocking to the beat and to them dancing and putting their own spin on it. Talk about creativity.
And I applaud Nadine for doing this, specifically because, like I mentioned, a lot of our children don't know the Black National Anthem. They know, oh, that's Lift Every Voice and Sing, but they don't actually know the words. And so for a new generation to actually know the words, and I'll speak for myself. Growing up in an African American Episcopal Zion church, we had to learn the words. Like that was what, we had to learn. Yeah, because we sung it not only just during Black History Month, but we sung it at other programs and things like that. So I can probably belt out the first, couple verses, the first verse, the chorus, and then the second verse.
Okay.
I don't know the third verse, or I think it's only 3 or 4 verses, but I don't know the third verse. But I can get maybe the first and second, with the chorus in there.
Okay.
And plus, we do it, usually during Kwanzaa, we do it during African, Black History Month, which is this month of February. So yeah, but I can tell you now, I think we've had a conversation with our kids. Do they know it? And they don't.
And that's on us. We're not teaching.
It is, because unfortunately we didn't pass it down. However, when and if we did, truthfully, would they have retained it? Probably not.
However, if they saw this rendition, probably so.
Or if they came up with their own rendition, because the words remained the same as you saw. Yeah. It was just the fact that, when kids are being kids and you saw them, like you said, dancing, and I don't know about y'all beating on the table, making their own beat for the song. That was, pretty dope that they were able to come up with their own rendition of it. And hopefully it catches on and people will continue to learn, our history and our culture. That was, a song that was written for us, by us.
And that's a great lesson that those children learned, thanks to their teacher Nadine, and I'm pretty sure it will stick with them for years to come.
Yeah, for sure. So keep on, kids. Keep doing your thing. Keep on, Miss Nadine, for doing your thing down in Jacksonville, Florida. We appreciate and we honor you for keeping the legacy alive, and letting everybody know to continue to lift every voice and sing.
That's right.
Yeah. We thank you for tuning in this week's episode of RETV News Break.
Be sure to subscribe to the RETV YouTube channel and Facebook pages for more great news and shows.
We look forward to seeing you again next week right here on RETV. Until then, be blessed and be great.
Hey, it's your girl Tia Robertson. I'm the host of Entrepreneur Insider. Right here on RETV. Every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern for entrepreneurs and news that you need to know about. See you there.
Welcome to What's Going On? My name is Demita Joe. Each Wednesday, you can find me here at 3 p.m. I'll be over here discussing different things that are going on and try to bring you a boost of positivity for your week, because we all need this. We're going to share some feel-good stories. We might find a hometown hero. We may take a look at some trending topic. And sometimes we might even find a lesson in a not-so-warm and fuzzy story if we can. I'm Demita Joe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode right here on What's Going On?
When they do that, cause we do that though. I see you talk, so we gon' take it though. And yeah, talking cheap, so don't do that though. My click 100 deep.
Growing up in the church, we saw a lot. Things that people refuse to talk about. The elephants in the room. Mental illness, sexual abuse, broken families, domestic violence, and so much more. The Big E, The Elephant in the Room, is a show that sheds light on these topics. We're here to speak about the unspeakable.